The next move in Port Charles could destroy everything. A mayor makes a secret decision. A mother feels her unborn child kick at the exact moment her world starts to shift. A woman holds a syringe that could save her life or end someone else. And somewhere high above the city, a man calmly promises that Sonny Corinthos is seconds away from ruin. This wasn't just another day in Port Charles. This was the day lines were crossed. And not everyone is going to survive what comes next. At General Hospital inside Portia Robinson's office, the tension felt softer but no less powerful. Trina Robinson stood in front of her mother, her voice quiet, almost fragile. She admitted that Isaiah Gannon's recent visit had opened her eyes. She had been so focused on her own feelings that she didn't see how alone Portia had been. There was no anger now, only honesty. Trina didn't want her mother to feel isolated, she didn't want resentment to grow between them, and for the first time in a long time she apologized. Portia's face softened. They embraced, not the polite kind, the kind that says we almost lost each other but we didn't. And then something happened. Trina felt it. A small kick. Her mother's baby. Life, hope, a fresh start. Trina's eyes lit up as she pressed her hand gently against Portia's stomach, a new sibling, a new chapter. But even in that tender moment, something felt fragile. Because outside that office, powerful forces were already moving, and this family's peace might not last. And speaking of fragile, across town at the Metro Court, Nathan West's heart was quietly breaking. He stood in front of Liesl Obrecht, and the words felt heavy in his mouth. Maxie had chosen Damien Spinelli. Not him. Obrecht did not take the news lightly. She urged Nathan to fight for Maxie, for their son James. But something in Nathan snapped. He exploded. He told Liesl to leave James out of it. He accused her of crossing a line, of judging his parenting. For a split second, the room felt like it might shatter. And then reality hit him. He had gone too far. He apologized for losing his temper, but the damage was done, the hurt was visible. Still, he walked away. Because sometimes walking away feels safer than saying what you really feel. But here's the question. If Nathan isn't willing to fight for Maxie, is he already losing her for good? Hold that thought. Because across the room, another complicated story was unfolding. Lulu Spencer sat across from Willow Kane, microphone in hand. Nina Reeves hovered close, almost too close. Willow had just stepped into Drew's former Congress seat, a massive leap, a powerful position. But when Lulu asked her about policy, about plans, about leadership, Willow hesitated. Just slightly. And Nina stepped in. Again. And again. Lulu noticed. Nina kept saying we. Not Willow's, not she. We. So Lulu asked the question that was on everyone's mind. How involved are you planning to be in your daughter's political career? For a moment Nina's smile tightened. She downplayed it, brushed it off. Then she left, leaving Willow alone to finish the interview. Alone with her new powers. And when the cameras stopped rolling, Willow's tone changed. She reflected on what this position meant. Authority, influence, access. And then she mentioned Michael. If he tries to push her, she will push back. This isn't the same Willow anymore. This Willow has leverage. And somewhere in Port Charles, a man named Gent Sidwell is counting on that. But before we get there, Laura Collins walked into Alexis Davis' law office, fully aware she was walking into a storm. Alexis had already told people she would slide into Drew's Congress seat. She had prepared. She had moved. And then Laura made her press conference announcement. Willow got the seat. Alexis felt blindsided. Laura insisted she had tried to warn her, she had texted. Alexis checked her phone. The message was there. Too late. The anger softened, the disappointment lingered. Laura apologized, Alexis forgave her. But forgiveness doesn't erase ambition. And Alexis just lost a powerful opportunity. In Port Charles, that kind of loss never stays quiet for long. Meanwhile at the hospital, Britt Westbourne held a syringe. And this wasn't symbolic. This was real. Lucas Jones had failed to locate her medication at Windermere, the prototype drug she needed. Time was running out. So Britt proposed something bold. Dangerous. She pulled out sodium pentothal. Her plan, when Pascal approached her for his routine injection, she would knock him out. Take what she needed. Reverse engineer the medication. Save herself. Lucas hated it. Too risky, too reckless. But Britt was calm. Almost too calm. Lucas eventually left to try another approach. And just when Britt thought she was alone, Liesl Obrecht barged in. Britt quickly hid the syringe. Liesl wanted her daughter's help convincing Nathan to fight for Maxie. But Britt surprised her. Maybe Spinelli is the right man. Maybe Maxie belongs with someone who understands her better than she understands herself. And as she spoke, there was a flicker in Britt's eyes. Jason, this wasn't about Maxie. It was about Britt believing someone else might deserve happiness more than she does. Liesl saw it instantly. She told Britt to get out of her own way. But here's the chilling part. While mother and daughter talked about love, on a high parapet under open sky, Sidwell was discussing death. He stood with Marco Rios and calmly declared they were seconds away from putting the final nail in Sonny Corinthos' coffin. No emotions, just strategy. He referenced Willow's new position, her tension with Michael, her possible influence over federal investigations. Sidwell believes Willow could be used, that she might send the FBI after Sonny. Marco wasn't convinced, but Sidwell was. And then he said something colder. Britt's life depends on finishing the prototype. No prototype. No Britt. So now ask yourself, is Britt planning a desperate move or walking straight into a trap? Because in Port Charles, desperation rarely ends cleanly. And we're just getting started. If you thought the emotional landmines were already buried, think again. Lucas Jones found Marco alone. This wasn't small talk. Lucas pushed him for the truth about Britt's medication. Marco passed the test. He told Lucas everything Britt had already shared. But he didn't like that Lucas had gone behind his back. Still, Lucas wasn't backing down. He asked Marco to steal a dose. Just one. So they could reverse engineer it. Free Britt from Sidwell's control. Marco hesitated. Because this isn't just theft. It's betrayal. And Sidwell does not forgive betrayal. But Lucas looked him in the eye and said what no one else would. If we don't act now, Britt could die. Marco agreed. Reluctantly. 3 lives now hang on one stolen vial. And if Sidwell finds out, it won't just be Britt paying the price. Meanwhile at Deception, Maxie Jones reunited with Lucy Coe. The reunion was warm at first, until Lucy revealed the truth. After Maxie's on-screen collapse, the company took a nosedive. And guess who stepped in? Sidwell. Maxie's smile faded. Sidwell now has leverage inside Deception. So Maxie met with him, alongside Lucy. She made it clear they needed to discuss his exit strategy. He made it clear he had a contract. He wasn't leaving. As Sidwell walked away, Maxie told him this conversation was not over. He turned and glared. Not annoyed. Not amused. Threatened. Because Maxie isn't easy to control. And Sidwell knows that. Which brings us back to Nathan. After learning Maxie chose Spinelli, Nathan met with Lulu. There were still complications. Still emotions. Lulu worried about Maxie's reaction. But something shifted. Lulu decided she wanted to pursue something real with Nathan. No secrets. No hidings. If they do this, they confess. To Maxie. The question is, who tells her? Nathan. Lulu. And what happens when Maxie finds out the man she didn't choose has already moved on? Will it sting more than she expects? Back with Willow. Power settled differently on her shoulders. She may have seemed unsure during the interview. But privately, she's thinking several moves ahead. Michael has underestimated her before. That won't happen again. And if Sidwell whispers the right words, if he positions himself as an ally, will Willow unknowingly become part of something darker? Because Sidwell doesn't just invest in companies. He invests in leverage. And Port Charles is full of it. Now here's the bigger picture. Sidwell has his hand in Deception. He's watching Willow's political rise. He's pressuring Britt to finish a life-saving prototype. He's planning Sonny's downfall. And he's doing it all calmly. Quietly. Strategically. But every villain in Port Charles eventually underestimates one thing. The emotional bond between its people. Trina and Portia just found healing. Nathan and Lulu are risking honesty. Lucas and Marco are risking everything for Britt. Maxie refuses to be intimidated. And even Willow may surprise everyone. So here's the real question. Who will strike first? Will Lucas and Marco succeed in stealing the medication before Sidwell finds out? Will Willow use her new power to protect her family or unknowingly target Sonny? Will Maxie become Sidwell's biggest problem? And is Britt's dangerous plan about to explode in her face? Port Charles is standing on the edge of something explosive. And when it detonates, alliances will shift. Love will be tested. And at least one person may regret ever trusting Sidwell. Now I want to hear from you. If Willow truly pushes back against Michael, does that make her stronger, or is she walking into Sidwell's game? And if you were Maxie, would you accept Spinelli's love or fight for Nathan before it's too late? Let's talk about it in the comments. And if you don't want to miss the next twist, the next betrayal, the next shockwave through Port Charles, make sure you subscribe for daily General Hospital updates. Because in this town, no secret stays buried for long.